Sargon of Akkad made a video where he made a graphic of me wearing a MAGA beanie and said that I was on the Trump train and all this other stuff. And sure, okay, Mr. Carl Benjamin Sargon of Akkad. Listen, I made a post on Facebook talking about how, pending some very serious changes, which are likely coming up to the election, I'll be voting for Trump. What that means is I am not 100% committed. I have not hopped on with the MAGA bean or anything like that, and I will never wear one. It's that based on what the Democrats are doing and how insane things have gotten up, in this year, I feel that there's literally nothing you can do but hold your nose if you're a liberal, someone like me, and vote for someone like Trump. Listen, watch the interview with Axios, and I ranted to no end about how I can't stand these snooty journalists, and I am not impressed with Trump's work. However, we are dealing with Joe Biden, who's completely incapable of doing anything, and Donald Trump, who I personally don't like. I think he is ill prepared for this in many ways, but he's done a good job in many areas. And so you know what? I will take what I can get, especially if it means Trump will be that strong voice pushing back against this. In Sargon's video, he made several points. He brought up things I mentioned, but there are many things that he left out that I think perhaps he doesn't understand about my position. So I respect and appreciate the sentiment and the video from Sargon, and I will add this. Bill de Blasio admits city skipped permit process to paint Black Lives Matter murals. This makes me very, very angry. What gives you the right to break the rules and prop yourself up using our institutions and our government to empower your political ideology while at the same time denying Blue Lives Matter their right to put their own murals? You opened the door for this. So let me tell you, Donald Trump, man, he is not the kind of guy that I would normally ever consider voting for. I really hate voting against people, but we are talking about extreme circumstances, to say the least. You know, if it weren't for the violations of the Constitution, right? If it wasn't for the preferential treatment and the corruption of these Democrats, the arresting of small business owners, I wouldn't vote for Trump. The economy is doing well. If you gave me, in a normal circumstance, let's imagine everything was normal, right? Let's imagine 2020 hasn't happened yet. We're dealing with all the stupidity of the Democrats and all the things I've complained about. Guess what? I probably still wouldn't have voted for Trump. Guess what? I would not have. 2020 was a punch in my face, which means pending some very serious changes, I'll probably be voting for Trump. I don't know if I'll be voting for anybody else, to be honest, but I'll tell you this, man. I have seen small business owners across this country arrested, and not just in Democratic states. We had Texas too, but the Texas Supreme Court overturned that salon owner. In Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Today, in a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Antifa, I watched a Democratic senator lie every word out of his mouth about Antifa on the far left. You know what I can't stand? You know what I do? I get these text messages from Democrats, and they say things like, will you support us? Bernie is endorsing us. No. Bernie Sanders has betrayed the working class. And all of these progressives are going to be like, Tim is so dumb. Bernie never did that. Take a look at Bernie's platform from 2015 compared to today. And he has gone 180 on the issue. He has abandoned his past positions. Now they'll say, but he's evolved, Tim. That's fine. I don't like him now. I think it's a betrayal. He used to talk about free trade agreements being bad. He used to talk about open borders being bad. Now where is he? He's intersectional. He's fully on board with Democrats adopting a literal white supremacist ideology. That woman, as Sargon points out in his video, the Robin DiAngelo, white fragility woman, admits she's overtly racist. So why are you taking your cues from her? In California, the Democrats have voted both the Assembly and the Senate to repeal civil rights legislation. You all know I'm second generation mixed race. I am not going to stand for that. I get all these lefties saying, but Tim, you could pass for white. Shut up. I don't care. Don't tell me to disregard the rights of my family and what I have to consider for my future because you want to repeal civil rights law. So here I am in the craziest year of my life, looking at two people. Joe Biden is the worst you can possibly get. Man, is that guy trash. And you got someone like Donald Trump, really funny guy, great entertainer, in my opinion, ill-prepared for what it takes to be the commander-in-chief, but at least he's pushing back at whatever it is these psychotic Democrats have become. Joe Biden has no spine. He's a corrupt, crony establishment politician. I'd never vote for him. When 2016 came around, I saw the crony capitalist garbage of Hillary Clinton. I saw Bernie Sanders spit on the working class and totally just give in, endorse her, flip his positions. I was upset. And I saw Donald Trump, this boastful braggart guy who did not fit the office of the presidency. I love this country. I love the Constitution. And I said, Trump is not the man for the job. And I didn't vote. And you know what I think today? If these are the options we have, Donald Trump is the only thing apparently protecting us from these far left overt white supremacists. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Maybe you have seen the comedy sketch from Ryan Long. Definitely check him out. The dude's hilarious. The video went insanely viral. Woke and racist best friends, where they make all of these very important points as to why I will not support the Democrats and why at this point I must do what I can to make sure they don't win. It's amazing to me that I find myself in this position that I've resisted my whole life, voting against something. However, I have to admit, Donald Trump is trying to withdraw forces from the Middle East. And in my personal opinion, my experience having covered stories related to this and having tracked a lot of the news around this, coming from an anti-war, progressive left when I was younger, I'm happy. I agree. Donald Trump talking about income disparity? Yeah, a bonus. I'm not convinced he's going to do anything. But the economy was great. And, okay, I don't know what this is playing, so I'm not going to let it keep playing. Donald Trump was running our economy, and it was fantastic, and people were happy. And I don't like his attitude. I don't. He did some foreign policy things I really didn't like, but he has improved. So I'll tell you this. While on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I don't like you and 10 being I really, really love you, Donald Trump for me is like a 4. Yeah, no. So you know what? I am the kind of person who will walk into a voting booth, face palm, shake my head and say, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Listen, there is something about professional demeanor, preparedness, charisma, things that I think Donald Trump lacks. And you watch the Axios interview, you watch these interviews, and for me, I can see it. I can. And I am not, and I am anything but an elitist. I'm very populist, moderate, independent left. But Joe Biden is a corrupt elite. The people around him are corrupt. The establishment politicians around him are all corrupt, and I will not allow that. I'm sorry. Now, for the most part, guess what? I probably would have ignored it like I did in 2016. But what scares me now is that the left has become overtly white supremacist. And I mean that in some kind of literal sense. Obviously, there's a colloquial understanding of words, semantic semantic arguments. Typically, when people say white supremacist, they're referring to some kind of, neo-Nazi, far right, whatever you want to call it. What I'm saying is, you have now people I've known for years posting on Instagram saying they're calling for white racial awakenings and white collective action. And I'm like, what are you doing? To my friends, my progressive friends, like, whoa, stop what you're doing. What are you doing? Why are you trying to activate white racial groups for collective action? Stop that. Stop doing that. We stopped it a long time ago. They're doing it. You get this Robin DiAngelo and this white fragility, this fringe psychotic behavior where they literally they're in Louisville, they're shaking down businesses for cash. And I'm like, this needs to stop. Guess what? The Democrats bent the knee for it. The corporations are bending the knee for it. These are extreme circumstances. No, I don't want to vote for Donald Trump or any Republican. But guess what? I will take a Republican Party that I disagree with over psychotic cultists any day. They went around painting Black Lives Matter in the streets everywhere. And guess what? I don't care. You want to make the streets a public forum? The only thing I ask is you uphold equality under the law. Oh, what's that? They don't. De Blasio denies Blue Lives Matter. You can't do that. I do not want to live in a country where I will be treated as a second-class citizen. And guess what? They say that California, what they do there is a prediction of what's to come in the rest of this country. Dear Lord, I hope not. There's a homeless problem. There's drug problems. But I will tell you this. Maybe I'm a bit selfish. But when they voted to repeal civil rights legislation, that was like, whoa, alarm bells, red flags. They must be stopped. I cannot allow that. When I tried explaining to my friend who's progressive why it's so horrifying to me that she is calling for white collective action as a progressive leftist for Black Lives Matter, and why it's horrifying what California is doing, She says, I don't understand. How would these laws benefit you? We're going to do affirmative action. It'll be great. And I said, no, it won't. No, it won't, because I come from a mixed race family. What that means? It means that the white side of my family is negatively impacted by your psychotic racist policies, and the minority portion of my family is negatively impacted by the white identitarianism and the white collective action. Stop. I told her, it is the progressives that fought, that won Loving v. Virginia, and I'm eternally grateful for that allowed cohabitation and ended these miscegenation laws. But you cannot now punish us when it was your policies that created generations of mixed race families. This is what they're doing. I consider it an existential threat to fundamental freedoms in this country. And you know what? I'll throw it back to this one video I saw the other day where this InfoWars lady brought a black man to a Trump rally, a line of Trump supporters, and told them they were leftists and Black Lives Matter, and they hugged him and they shook his hands. And that's been my experience with Trump supporters. Some of them are racist, for sure. Of course they would be. In my experience, when I've met all these Trump supporters, it's been disagreeable. For the most part, we get along, we smile, we have dinner together, we laugh. I say Trump's a funny guy, but he's not for me. And they say, one day maybe you'll come around, but whatever. That's the end of it. I have friends who are Trump supporters and we'll argue and I'll be like, no, you're wrong about this. You're wrong about this, blah, blah, blah. And we'll talk and I'll talk about systemic racism and the problems. But what they're doing now, the left has gone just absolutely insane. So whatever, this is a rant, but that'll be my response to the video from Sargon. I think what he missed is this. When we have widespread nationwide inequality under the law to this degree where they are painting political slogans for the far left cult in our streets and they deny equality to other groups, I am warning all of you how bad it will get. Something must be done. And I think Trump is the only one who will do it. In fact, I don't even know if he'll do it well enough, but at least that's him. So let me just reiterate the final point. I am not 100% convinced, guaranteed to go and vote for Trump. That's not true. What I can say is, pending some ridiculous change, if the vote were held today, I would vote for Trump. But we don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. So I'm never going to be one of these diehards, wearing a hat, marching around. And I will tell you this, I do not like him. It is policy related. It is capability is professional. But you need to understand that when I say I would go and vote for him, I'm one of those people who would be holding my nose. Now, if you're one of those Trump supporters who loves the guy, my buddy Adam really likes him. I don't, man. Look, I don't. But I'll tell you this. Trump is an American who loves this country. He has a bunch of ideas for this country. Many of them have worked. There's some things he wants to do that I like. I personally don't think that means he should be president. But if this is the only thing we have to push back on whatever this insane cult is, I will take it. I will. And you better understand this to all the leftists who watch this video who say, shut up, Tim, we knew, blah, blah, blah. Have you followed the threads of my video calling out Antifa violence? I've been doing that since 2011 when Antifa and the far left types were physically attacking me. I have always stood up for free speech, be it for the left or the right. I condemned the police attacking the chalkers at Occupy Wall Street and the pro-life people who wrote with chalk. I've always been about liberty, and I have always been typically a social liberal. I believe we can have social programs to help minorities. And if you've got me to the point where I'm freaking out because you've lost your minds, then you better take that as a warning for what it means for many other people. No, they're going to say, Tim Pool is secretly right-wing. Shut up. I don't care. That's the end. That's it. Okay, there you go. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out.